So, everybody, this is Madalina, educator turned entrepreneur and founder of HiveMind. So could we have a round of applause, please, for Madalina?
Hi, everyone. Well, first of all, thank you for coming to the event today. So it's lovely to see so many people around here. So I'm just going to share my story. I'll start with my background first. So I have a background in data science. So I have a PhD in data science. So I come from an academia background. That's where everything started. As I was doing my PhD back in 2021, I was lecturing a lot, data science students. And right after I finished as well, I continued to lecture because I really liked education. Until I started doing it, I didn't realize how much I enjoyed it. I thought, oh, I wouldn't be good at it. And then I realized, actually, I do like it a lot. And as I was lecturing, a lot of students had so many issues with getting jobs, getting the right skills. They were really confused when they were applying for jobs and so on. So that's when I thought, okay, I can really relate to this because I had the same exact issue when I was a student. You know, you get the imposter syndrome, you don't have the confidence, you look at all the job applications and you feel like there's too many things that you need to tick. And so that's when as I was talking to people, getting more feedback from friends in the industry as well, and from my teaching experience, I realized the data science courses were just very general. So if you do a master's, you have 1 year, there's a lot of general information that you learn, but nothing really specific for particular industry. So that's where a lot of the students were struggling. So that was, right at the beginning. And then a good friend of mine, as we were talking, he said, oh, but why don't we do something about it? So I said, what can I do about it? Because, I'm in academia. And he still is a business owner. So he said, well, let's just partner up and start a business. So with his knowledge in business and my academic background and knowledge in data, I said, okay, fine, let's do it. And then more than a few months down the line, we put something together. We applied for the big pitch competition with the University of Essex. That's where I studied. That's where I lectured. So we won £3,000. So we thought, okay, this is amazing. This could actually work. But the whole vision at the beginning, and it's still the same thing today, is it's all about personalized learning, because people have different needs when they're learning, and to make it efficient, it needs to be personalized because there's so much information out there. How do you filter what's good, what's bad for you as an individual? So we won the competition, and we started slowly working on different things. Then we realized, actually, wait, we don't work really well together. It's actually terrible. It's a disaster. So then we decided to just go separate ways. And I kind of lost my confidence at that point, because coming from an academia background, I knew nothing about business whatsoever. So I had to learn about everything. And I was still lecturing at the time, and I did a postdoc as well in the meantime. I hated it. But when I was working on the startup, I could feel that I'm really enjoying it, waking up in the morning, and I feel like I do have the motivation, even though there's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of days where you just feel like you don't want to continue, you just want to start something completely different. So that was at the time, and as we got more feedback in, we didn't want to just focus on data analytics. So today we kind of moved away from that. I am going to, sorry, I've got my prompts just to not talk about different things forever. Yeah, so what it is today is completely different to what we had in mind at the beginning, because we went out and got a lot of feedback from the market, from different people. And we realized that the problem we're trying to solve, it's because we wanted to focus on different courses, personalized courses in different industries, but the focus to be on data analytics for businesses to upskill their teams on data, because now it's such an important thing. But we realize it's a nice to have, but not something that companies would say, okay, we need it tomorrow. We don't need it, let's say 6 months from now, but we need it tomorrow. So as we were gathering all this feedback, we realized there is this. So the question that I think about the most is how do we future-proof our work, talent, and growth? So that's what companies should really be thinking about also. And that's when we started looking into onboarding processes and knowledge management. So when it comes to onboarding, a lot of companies just offer very generic onboarding. It's not standardized. They rely on the managers to do all the work. And sometimes the manager doesn't have time. So our research, so we did quite a few interviews with people at different levels in different companies. And we have a critical persona, let's say a junior professional like Christoph, data engineer, very driven, ambitious, and already working with AI tools, but doesn't have the right support within the company to, as he's starting out, to make it successful in a very short period of time. So Christoph represents a lot of employees, a lot of people around the world. And what Christoph actually needs is personalized, adaptive onboarding and learning, applied content, and visibility into progress. Because when employees start out, a lot of the time, the manager doesn't really know how they're doing, because let's be honest, well, we all focus on ourselves, not necessarily on the other person. And that could be the case sometimes for managers when they have so much pressure. And they tend to forget that some of the simplest things, they're not very out there to new employees, and things get lost along the way. So that's how we realized the current system's not really working. So the vision still stays the same, to have personalized learning, onboarding, so every employee is going to be successful on let's say day one in the workplace. I'm just going to skim through some of these because I don't think I've got time. So we focus a lot on employee onboarding and knowledge management. We aim to bring everything under one umbrella when it comes to learning and the one source of truth for companies. Our target audience is medium to large businesses, and especially, let's say, scale-ups, because us as people, we sometimes forget about the problem that's not urgent today. So we say, okay, we'll deal with that tomorrow, and then things keep piling up. So in terms of organizing all the information and making things very efficient, if the system is not well put in place since the beginning, then it becomes more and more of a problem, and it becomes bigger and bigger. So So what we do is tailored onboarding for different teams, different roles within a company. And we aim to get companies to have one source of truth for all the information they have for different teams, so that it's easy to flow the information around the company, and even as employees grow, they will have something to just to have easy ways to find the information, and to learn from other teams, to see what other teams are doing, so to have that visibility within the company. But also when it comes to learning and onboarding, what I mean by making it personalized is not just in terms of content, but in terms of the way it's being delivered to employees. So for example, when you go through, let's say, compliance training, maybe some people like to listen to the information, others like to read or do both, or just watch a video, which I think is very important. I've learned this as I was going through my studies and then through my PhD. The most important part was learning how to learn, how to make it efficient, and I'm still struggling today, because it's not, because I'm, as a neurodivergent individual, I did not realize how important this is to so many people, because we think everybody learns the same way, and just because somebody's doing well, it doesn't necessarily mean they're not struggling when they're picking up the information. So we could just make it a lot easier by having different ways of interacting with the same material. So employees can actually pick and choose. Some days they're on the train and they want to listen to some of the information. Other days they might want to watch video. So to have this sort of adaptability to a platform. So we start with the consultation phase, then we design the onboarding based on the client needs. Then we do the delivery, we put it in a very nice, different format, personalized for the client, and then we also provide the ongoing feedback and updates. And we aim to do this with a platform also, and that's what we're working on at the moment, to bring everything under one umbrella. It is in early stages. We are working on our MVP, but we want to have it as a continuous learning ecosystem to bridge the gap between knowledge application and measurable growth, where managers would be able to have the continuous insight into what the employees are doing, and to make it personalized for the company, for the algorithms to keep learning and to recommend, which is a huge thing nowadays, to make it simple. So our founding team, so it's me and then Andre. He's the technical side of the company. He joined later down the line, after I split up with my, let's say, first co-founder. But luckily we still kept our friendship, so that was the most important part. So here, I'm not sure if you can see much on the slide, but so initially this is where we started. We started in 2022, very slow. Did a couple of did some accelerators, but I think where it's really come together for me, at least, was when we applied for an Innovate UK Smart Grant. I think that's been the toughest, one of the toughest, I would say, one of the toughest periods in a way, because there isn't a lot of guidance when it comes to what you need to put into the application, how, like everything, because there are a lot of grants available, but when it comes to small businesses, it's very difficult to be successful when you're applying for a grant, because of the amount of work that goes into it, and it needs to be very specific. It needs to be written in a certain format, and you don't get this information. So we did have some consultants that helped me with everything. So I started, I think, it took me about 5 months to put everything together. So when I decided, okay, we're gonna go for this, we're gonna apply for the grant, that's when I started putting together the idea of the platform. So the vision was always there in my head, but just actually putting the plan together, I think that was the toughest part. And even if we didn't get the grant, it was a still very successful outcome, because we were top 6% out of 1,392 applications. So a lot of work went into that for me, and just not knowing what needed to be done, I think that was the toughest part. And nobody has around me, everybody I asked, nobody really knew what, you know, just to guide me to basically. So yeah, so you can see in 2025 we've actually done a lot of things. We've worked with students from University of Essex, so internships. I really like interns. I don't know. I like working with students. I know some people don't, but for me it's been really successful so far. We had 2 MBA consultants as well over summer doing the MBA projects, which really helped us to shape the feedback that we got from the industry, to really shape what it was that we really wanted to do, and put that into writing as well. The academic collaborations also helped, which we got. It started with the Innovate UK grant application. That's when we got the first academic collaboration to get the grant, because it was a big grant we applied for. It was for £900,000, so we were very ambitious. So that was good. Yeah, so that's where we are today. We started working with our first tech scale-up to put everything together for them. So that's been also a learning curve, a good one. And I think what I like the most about the founder journey is how much you get to learn, and you don't realize how much you're learning until you're there. So, because you're struggling every single day, and then you come out at the end of it and you think, oh, okay, actually, I think I can do this again, but a lot quicker. Yeah, so one thing I wanted to mention related to this, related to the big wins and to the challenges, I think for me, it's been mostly related to imposter syndrome. So that's been the toughest one, because you don't know when it's coming. So sometimes it can just last for a very long time when nothing is going right, and then you're thinking, oh, is there something wrong with me? What do I need to do? Nobody really knows the ins and outs. So even if you get feedback from the outside, nobody really knows as well as you do. So what do you do in that case? So then I start overanalyzing. I don't know if everybody does the same, but I overanalyze when there's a problem until it gets solved. It's just constant analysis in my head. So that leads to burnout. So just getting out of the imposter syndrome, sometimes it's rewarding once you're at the end of it and you think, okay, actually it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So yeah, so I think that's been the two toughest challenges have been the imposter syndrome, and I would say the grant application. And one thing I wish I'd known earlier as a founder about mindset and funding. I think a lot of the time it's pictured as it's not going to take as long as it actually does. So a lot of people say, oh, we've done so many things in 6 months, and then you've been working and grinding for so long, and then you're thinking, how did they do this in 6 months when there's just so much to do, especially when you're early stage, you don't have investment, you want to get to investment, but how can you get to investment if you don't have the time to, you don't have a proper team, and there's that catch-22. And then getting ready for investment, that's a whole different journey. So many things need to be done, and it's just constant, which I think it teaches you a lot of good things about prioritizing and time management. So yeah, I think, was there some, I think that was it. That was, yeah, all the, let's say, insights I wanted to share. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.